Alright guys, welcome back to the Live on Life podcast. This is episode 37 and I'm super excited for my guest today. I have Sierra, who used to work as a parole agent and now she's doing some new stuff, which is super cool, and apparently has 2 full-time jobs that I just learned. And she went to rehab. I just learned that. That's super cool.
I'm a job collector. Yes.
I am not. I'm the complete opposite.
Oh yeah, I'm a job collector.
I barely. If I get 36 hours at work for the week, I'm like.
For me, it's like a challenge. How many jobs can I acquire and actually juggle at the same time proficiently? I'm like.
That's impressive, dude. Because
It's a challenge to myself.
We are opposites for sure. But welcome and thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah,
I'm
course.
super excited. I just wanted to say that's kind of what attracted me to having her doing this with me, was that she was a parole agent, and like full honesty, like when I see her at the jail, even though you were nice to us and you joke, you know, in my mind back then, like that was the end.
Yeah.
You know, like
Of course.
that was the root of all my problems. Not me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, which I would now working in like recovery.
Yeah.
And where I'm at today. I remember when I first started my job at Steps that I was just like, holy shit, like.
Did you feel like
Just to
a
be on the
traitor?
other
Like
side.
you were
Oh
one of them?
yeah, that too, bad.
You're like, I crossed to the
yeah,
dark
it's like,
side.
I am a cop, you know, I'm basically a cop.
Exactly.
But it just felt weird, like being disrespected and being treated like
Yep.
that, like you're the enemy.
For people trying to manipulate you.
Yeah,
like,
just
for
like
real.
and it just felt really, and I instantly had like more compassion for like, especially like COs at the jail who I was always talking shit to, or like not always talking shit to, but I was always trying to
Yeah.
do everything, like passing kites under the door,
Yeah.
getting drugs from the next door, whatever I could do. I was trying to do it. So I instantly had just compassion and more of an understanding.
Yeah.
So it was super cool. But so my first question for you is, where did you grow up and what was the family dynamic like?
Okay, I grew up in Southern California and San Bernardino County, which is well known to be like the meth capital.
Really?
I think it's where meth started. Like I was born in the 70s, so in like the 80s and 90s when meth was really, really big.
That was crack too, right? Or was that 90s?
Yeah, but that was more in LA, and I was like in the suburbs of LA, so it was more meth.
Yeah.
And that's where they had like just tons of meth labs and stuff like that. So yeah, so I grew up in Southern California, and my family dynamic, my parents divorced when I was 3. I'm the youngest of 4, and my parents lived near each other, so we went kind of back and forth for a while, and then mostly just stayed at my mom's. I went to my dad's on the weekend, so.
Yeah, my parents divorced as well when I was super young. I was the eldest of 4.
Okay.
2 half brother and a half sister, but you know the twins and.
Yeah. I know your whole family.
Yeah. Yeah. Another
By
fun
default.
fact is she was my dad's parole officer. She was Jeremy's, I believe, and
And
I think
Jesse's.
you were Jesse's.
Yes, I was the twins at the same time, but one was on probation, one was on parole.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you just did parole because
Yeah,
I
we
know
had
Jesse
mixed
never.
caseloads back in the day.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I did. I thought only that. For some reason, I thought parole
Yeah.
officers only did that. I
No,
didn't know.
and if there was like family members or people that live together, like couples, I would always volunteer to take both of them because I'm like, it's 2 for 1
Yeah.
on visit, so might as well work smarter
Yeah,
instead of harder,
that
right?
is smart because I had a.
Most people avoid that because they were like, I don't want to deal with both, like, of the siblings, or I don't want to deal with the husband and the wife or whatever, but.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
Yeah, exactly.
I was dating this chick and where I very first started like shooting large amounts of meth, and we both had different agents. So I would have preferred just to have have one.
Yes.
You know, so one was 2
Yeah.
more knocking at different times
Exactly.
while you're doing meth. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Because that really cramps your spine.
Yeah. It's
You're like, damn it.
So I'd have been like, give me
Yes.
Sierra, dude. For
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
That's cool. What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a youngster?
Okay, so when I was really young, I wanted to be a Laker girl.
Right on. That's cool.
Like Paula Abdul, because she was like my hero.
Was she a Laker girl?
Yes, she was
like
originally before she became like a big star.
I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, so I wanted to be a Laker girl when I was little, but then as I got older, I just wanted to work in a prison. I know that sounds really weird. That's like a strange goal to have, but yeah, I wanted to work in a prison. And then when I started getting in trouble as a juvenile and stuff like that. And then when I went to college, I studied psychology, and so I thought I was going to be a prison psychologist. Until I realized like how much more schooling I would need to do that, and the fact that prison psychologists only deal with sex offenders.
Wow,
and I was like,
lot.
that's not the population that I really wanted to try to help or work with.
Yeah,
so,
it'd be hard. That'd be really
hard. So that's, things kind of changed after that, but yeah, that was from Laker girl to prison employee.
How did you end up becoming a parole officer?
So I started in California.
You never did work at a prison, right?
I did.
You did?
Yeah. So, not full time though. So I started my career in California, and I worked for Sacramento County Sheriffs in their probation department, and I worked with juveniles. That was like right out of college.
How was that with juveniles?
It sucked.
Because we don't listen to shit.
Well, I like the challenging population. That's not what sucked. What sucked was making like changes for the better with them, and then sending them back to the same environment that fucked them up in the first place. Am I allowed to say
that?
Okay,
Yeah.
That's good, because it would be really hard if I can. You're gonna be like boop, 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 all over the.
No, you can swear all you
No, so like I would send them back. They were like inner city kids. It was in Sacramento, and these kids, like parents were like crackheads, and it was just, they grew up in shitty environments, and so you take them out of that environment and you make all these improvements and strides in their life, and then send them right back to it and expect them not to go back to the same stuff. So it was just really discouraging and heartbreaking for me, but I enjoyed working with that population. It was awesome. It was fun.
When I was a youngster, I did REACH. Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
The REACH program. It's at the Southwest Center. It was for it's basically like drug courts for kids. And I didn't listen to a word.
Right.
I was always locked up.
Yeah.
I just didn't. They were telling me these things, and I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I couldn't see anything that they were telling me until way later. But
yeah, and I worked so Sacramento, like California is so big compared to here population wise. So like the Sacramento County Juvenile Hall is the same size as Purgatory Jail, so it holds 500, and they have like they have maximum security. It's literally set up just like an adult jail.
Detention when I was, where it was when I was a kid here?
Where?
It's the oh my god, court support services.
Right.
That building.
Yeah, and it's
that was
small.
And it was co-ed.
Right. Yeah. No.
Best food ever.
This was set up just like Purgatory, pretty much, just like a jail. And there was kids in there for really serious offenses. So I worked there for a little while, and then I promoted and went out to a boys ranch, which was boys that were convicted of serious felonies and were too young to go to an adult facility, so they went to the boys ranch for 12 to 18 months. And some of them went to prison after that, some of them went to CYA, California Youth Authority.
Like straight from there? They went straight from there?
Mm-hmm.
That sucked.
So that was probably the most fun job I had, because it was just a bunch of rowdy ass boys, and they were like always fighting, and but we had like a kickball team, and I was like the coach of the kickball team, and we traveled.
I bet they loved it.
And we played like other boys ranches.
We did that for REACH too.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so much fun.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved doing that.
Yeah, so that was fun.
So how did you end up moving here?
Just cost of living and lifestyle, basically. So I was working 12-hour shifts at the boys ranch, and I was commuting an hour and a half to 2 hours each way every day, and it sucked because the traffic and everything. And so I was over California. I never really enjoyed like the politics of California or anything like that. My grandparents lived in Utah, so I was familiar with Utah, so I just decided to make the leap.
And how long till you became a parole officer?
So I got hired with the Department of Corrections here while I was still in California.
Oh, right.
So I started
immediately?
that process. Yeah. So when I moved here 3 days before I started the Corrections Academy.
Cool. Next question. Was it ever hard to arrest people? Like, did you ever, because I always thought like,
Yeah.
I could never arrest someone. I could like, you know, I always thought
Yeah.
stuff like that. I could never, and back then I always thought like, oh, they're ruining my life. They're ruining
Yeah.
people's lives, but it was me ruining my life.
Right, and I
obviously.
think you have to look at it that way, or it can be really depressing or discouraging as a cop or a PO. So I always, like, for me, I always looked at it like I was doing what was best for them at the moment, even if they didn't see it that way. It's what needed to be done. And some people, like, really probably for their own safety and others need to be incarcerated.
Yeah.
And so when it's something like that, you don't really feel bad about that either. It's just, I think you kind of get desensitized to it a little bit, probably. So.
Now, my next question is: was it ever hard to not become like cynical or jaded with people? Like
extremely hard.
because like, did you ever know Doug?
Mm-hmm.
Doug was mine, and he was so nice to me.
Mhm.
He was my mom's as well.
Mm-hmm.
When he went, and he knew my he knew my whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I met him, he wasn't very nice to me.
Right.
Because I think he thought just not very highly of me,
Yeah.
you know. But we got to know each other a little while I was doing good until I wasn't. But dude, he gave me chance after chance. I
Right.
lied and lied and
Right.
lied and lied and lied more, and then lied again and
Yeah.
just lied the whole time, you know. And I could just see how easy it would be, just because in treatment, I've got tired of like
Right.
clients and just
Like just
They're not
battling them
listening
all
to-
the time?
just
or?
not listening
Yeah.
to me, you know. And like they ask me for advice and I give it to them and they go do that, and I just went through a phase where I just was like, fuck these guys, you know. Like it was a really rough phase for me.
Yeah.
My boss had to like help me kind of work out of it.
Yeah, I think it's hard for POs and cops to not get cynical just about the criminal or drug addict population as a whole. Like, I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. Like, everybody I ever really dealt with or supervised on parole had some sort of substance abuse
Yeah.
issue. Like 99.9% of them, right? The underlying issue with them was substance abuse, and then whatever crime they ended up getting caught for, they got caught for, or whatever. But
Yeah.
the underlying issue was always substance abuse, and I feel like it's hard to not get cynical, and just feel like you're gonna group that whole population together. Just like, and I used to use this example to my parolees all the time, like they would group all POs together, and so
Yeah.
people would come down from up north or from the prison or whatever, and they'd be like, you know, having an attitude with me and like, you know, you're just another PO and you're all the same and you're all against me, and they have this like wall up and they're guarded and stuff like that. And so I used to use that example to them all the time. Like, I can't treat everybody on parole or everybody that I deal with as a PO or as a cop the same, because you're not. And so
That's a good example though, that
Yeah.
we bunched all you together as well. That's true.
all the time. Like, and there was, for the most part, I got along with people, but there was always like that 1% that were just gonna, whether it was an inmate or a parolee, that were gonna hate me because I was a cop, period.
Yeah.
Like, would never give me the opportunity to get to know who I really was or anything like that. But that was like 1%. The rest, I could usually kind of break down
Connect with a little bit.
yeah, it just takes time.
Dude, Doug literally, I ended up getting drug court, but he came in. I think that's a standard thing when we get arrested and they have to come in and end your term, your probation or whatever, or they meet with you, right? You
Yeah.
come in and meet with them there,
Yeah.
and he like had a tear in his eye. He
Yeah.
was so
Aww.
sad. He's like, and I was so sick. I was like,
yeah.
just shaking and like I was
You're like puking and
coming off
shitting
it, yeah.
yourself.
and he was just sad, man. He was just like, I tried everything. I wouldn't check in for 3 months, and then I'd go check
See,
in, or
and
I'd
some
call
people
him.
don't understand that, like, so you have to be the bad guy, and it's like trying to like is almost like enabling. Like, by
Yeah.
allowing it, you're like enabling and allowing it to continue. And for me, I always thought, like, if they die, I'm gonna freaking feel terrible
Yeah.
if I didn't do shit. So that's
That's
kind of how I always looked at it. It was
That's
like,
a good way to look
what
at
if
it.
they
for sure.
die? What if I give them this chance? And now sometimes your hands are tied though, and like you don't have the opportunity. Like, I've wanted to book people on a hold or get a warrant for them, and it was denied by the board of pardons, and they're like, nope, just keep them out and keep working with them. And I'm like, they're gonna die.
Was
That sucked.
Yeah. Was being a parole officer, was it what you thought it would be?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like Did you? Was your goal to help people? Was your goal to like?
My goal was always to help people.
Were they good about letting you help people? Were they,
oh no, department.
Yeah. Was that?
No, that was a uphill battle that I fought my entire career. I would say, yeah. It was. I felt like I had great ideas or input to give on how I wanted to supervise or deal with people, and I was repeatedly told to stay in my lane. Like literally stay in your lane.
Can I ask you like what an idea was?
I mean, I don't know. You just try to come up with like problem solving ideas. Like instead of just automatically going to arresting somebody, you're like, why don't we try this? Or like the crisis center. When the crisis center opened, I was like a huge fan of trying to get somebody to the crisis center and then come up with a plan. You know what I mean? Like you have to intervene, you have to stop the madness or the heroin use or whatever. And the crisis center is only like a 24-hour, 48-hour situation. But then you could come up with another plan during that 24 or 48 hours and that person's safe and alive. And, you know, or there was people I wanted to book on a hold, but 72-hour holds are only intended for people that you're going to request a warrant on.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't going to request a warrant on, but it was like, I just wanted to book them on a hold to like give them the time out and like stop using, but you know.
Yeah.
There was a lot of situations like that.
Once you got that hold, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, you know.
You know, you're trying to bail out and then they're like, hey, you got a hold. And
yeah.
Like, no.
Exactly.
Shit, it's over. You know, but thank God, like thank God sometimes that, because there was a few times where I was like, oh, these motherfuckers ruined my life. There was a few times where I was just like, the last time me and my brothers all got arrested, that's when I think I met you, was in there, when you came in, we were at the worst house possible. Love you, Rich, love you to death. But the cops came in and was like, where the fuck? You guys, they raided it. We knew we were getting raided. We had nowhere to go. That was
probably
the last.
Supervised Rich too.
Yeah, Nicholas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love Rich.
Yes, I did. I'm like, there was a few Riches that I can think of, and I think I supervised all of them. But yes,
when we were in jail,
I was his PO.
When we were in jail, I was like, how? Because his name's Richard Nicholas. I was like, how are your parents going to name you Dick twice? Dude?
I know, right? Dick Nicholas.
Like,
I know, it's like a porn star name. I feel like he was his calling.
You got some cruel parents,
Mr.
man.
Calling.
Oh, but anyways, we packed our butts full of drugs, but we just gave up. I was like, guys, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, we have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like, let's just.
It's like.
Let's go get it done, dude. We're all on the run. We're all. This is we have nowhere to go. Like, let's just. And it was scary. They came with guns. You know, it's not fun to get raided, and it's not. But I was just like a big sigh of relief, dude, that it was just over.
Well, not to mention it's small down here, and it's like, I feel like the felon population, like the repeat felon population, is pretty small.
Yeah.
And so it's like, once you're a cop down here for a while, you know who like all the main players are in that game. And so you guys are from down here, and you were already well known probably across not only APMP but like law enforcement in general. So it's like, where are you gonna go? Like, you would literally have to leave the area.
They already knew.
You're not gonna hide in plain sight.
I felt like anywhere we were, they already knew. They were just doing something else, waiting for whatever.
Right.
Like, they already knew. You know, and people are like, you're paranoid. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
Like, we've been doing this and this and this for. Yeah. They know what we're doing.
Right. And there's only so many places you can go.
Yeah. It's small here.
Right.
Yeah.
And they already know who all your family
members are. Because I wasn't like a super paranoid person. I just was kind of realistic.
Yeah. That's realistic.
We're probably being watched and
just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always knew that. But
for
sure. Okay, next question. So you told me you're doing realtor work. What else are you doing for work now?
So I work for Access Foundation. I came in as a reentry case manager just because I understood like the whole parolee population and prison system, and there's a lot of hurdles for them getting to sober living. So I came in doing that, and then they added my new task, which is mostly what I do, and that's intake. So I'm like the intake coordinator. So any phone calls that come into Access Foundation go to me, and then all the intake processing I do, and juggling people in house waiting lists and all that.
I think that's super cool. The first part you said, all of it's cool, but just from going from now you're on the 1,000% different end of it.
Right, from being a PO.
From
yeah.
putting them in there to now helping them as they're getting.
Well, I always said, because I always tried to help people when I supervised them too. Sometimes you just had to put them in jail or whatever to get them to pull their own head out of their ass long enough to see that you're trying to help them and follow your lead.
Yeah.
But I say now, like when I retired and came to Access Foundation, I still am doing the same thing that I did as a PO in a lot of ways, but I left all the government politics and bullshit, the part of my job that I didn't enjoy. I left all that there, and now I'm just doing all the good parts of what I enjoyed with my job as a PO.
I love that. It's a lot of people just stopped working there, right? At APNP?
There's a few that retired.
Oh,
There's
they
a
retired?
handful of us that retired, yeah. And then some people leave and go to like other law enforcement agencies, or they promote and they have to go to another office to promote because there's no openings in ours or whatever, so.
Is it ever hard for you to feel like we're gonna fail more than we're gonna succeed in our
With
line of work?
addicts
Yeah,
or
like,
with us?
like in my line of work and in your line of work, you're
Mhm.
helping people that are coming out of prison, you're,
Mhm.
you know, and especially a lot of, I was just telling Kiana this yesterday, like my buddy Pat, who's in trouble in Cedar right now, has been to prison numerous times.
I've supervised him too.
Yeah, I got.
And his brother.
I
You
think it's
say
cool.
first name and I know them all.
Yeah.
My kids call me Felon Famous. That's their nickname for me. Because since they were little, when I moved down here from up north, my girls were 2 and 4. And so, but I've
Felon
been
Famous.
a cop their whole life, like, you know, since they were born. And so when we moved down here, there was like such a small population. And so everywhere we go, like when I lived up north, I worked in West Valley and Kearns, and I lived in Utah County. I never ran into anyone I ever arrested, supervised, nothing ever, because it's so much larger there.
Yeah.
And it's like removed from the area. But down here, it's like just that condensed population, and everywhere I go. One of my parolees' daughter went to preschool with my daughter and was in the same class as her for like 3 years. And so there's a lot of that, like
Growing up, I
overlapping
yeah.
that goes on here.
growing up, and she ended up marrying my uncle, who's the same age. They had my uncle, my grandparents had him when they were like my age as I'm having a baby.
Right.
And I used to think they were so old, and now I'm gonna be that person.
Yeah, you're the old parent. It's okay. I was a young parent, and now I'm an old parent, if that makes you feel better.
But my dad, his parole officer, was her dad.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school with her, and like, and then when I'd go over there, I'd be like so embarrassed, and like so, and he was so nice. My dad would be all high on meth, telling me that he was on drugs and that he was a crooked cop, and like he was all these things. And my dad was crazy. He taught me nonsense, dude.
Yeah.
But you know, my dad basically molded me to be like a criminal, you know.
Right.
Like my ways
Well,
of thinking and
the
growing
power
up.
of drug addiction is right there. So.
But yeah, so the overlap was just crazy.
Yeah.
Growing up and being best friends with
Right.
my dad's parole officer's child.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy.
Yeah, and for me, it's just wherever I go. Yeah, Felon Famous. Because, well, the funny thing is when my girls, like, now they understand because they're teenagers, but when they were young, they used to ask me, like, finally, they're like, how come, like, everywhere we go, like, grocery store, gas station, anywhere, not only do people know you, because I always went by Sierra, my first name. I never was, like, officer so-and-so or PO, so, like, I'm just not that formal. And
I
so
never
everybody,
heard you called anything else.
yeah, everyone
Sierra.
called me Sierra.
Yeah.
And they're like, everybody knows you by your first name. And then they would come up to me, like, in the grocery store or whatever, and they'd be like, 9 months. And I'd be like, oh, congrats, that's awesome. Or give them a high five or whatever, right? And finally, my girls were like, how come every time somebody comes up to you that you know from work, they tell you, like, a time? Like months or days or years or whatever. And I'm like, that's how long they've been off drugs. And they're like, oh, you know, like, so yeah, they tease me.
That's cool they want to tell you, though.
Yeah,
You
the
know, that
ones
means
that are
you're-
still
that means
getting
you
high
had
avoid me when
Oh,
they
of
see me
course,
in the
yeah.
store.
Oh, yeah.
They don't come up to me. There's a few that come up to me and try to convince me that they're doing well.
And you're like,
I'm like, Yeah.
love you no matter.
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly. Go get some help.
Yeah, the using community here is it's repetitive, and it's not very. It's kind of big, but it's not like that big.
It's not.
And
it's a pretty shallow.
Wherever I was and wherever we were doing things, like as a family or whatever we were doing, like there was traffic, and it was obvious that we were doing stuff. We looked terrible. We never came outside, you know, unless it was 3 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like vacuuming your lawn.
Yeah. No.
Wondering why the neighbors are suspicious.
I have a buddy I gave meth, and I was staying at his mom's house because I was on the run, and I gave him some meth, and he's out there fucking cleaning the driveway, dude. And I was like, please come inside before your mom wakes up, and he couldn't stop. Yeah. And I was like, you're gonna get me kicked out, dude. Yeah. Of course, it's his fault, not mine.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with the fact that
but I feel like he could put
the
toothbrush down, you know, like you could help a little by not scrubbing the driveway. He couldn't stop, dude.
He had a job to be done.
Motherfucker, stop.
Exactly. You're like, it's very obvious.
But what did I ask you? Oh, back to the question of, is it ever hard for you to feel like we're failing more than we succeed? Do you ever feel like that?
Oh, I feel like that all the time, but I just don't focus on it. I focus on the successes. Yeah. If I focused on all of the fallbacks, people that went back to prison or ended up dying or whatever, it would be like the most depressing career ever. And it was pretty hard and negative in its way for a lot of reasons, but I was like, whatever I can choose to focus on, I'm going to focus on. So no, I don't.
That's awesome.
Ever.
I think I've had to learn that as well. And my boss, Ryan, have you ever met Ryan? He's a good dude, man. He's been so good to me.
Yeah, and his wife.
Yeah, Trina, they're so great. But he's really helped me to focus on, and then also just saying that we're planting seeds as well. You know, like it's not a failure. We're planting seeds. And hopefully they make it back. You know.
Yeah, like I run into people that I supervised 10, 12 years ago that it finally clicked, and they're like, there was things you said or did or whatever, and so I don't feel like it's ever a waste, even if they go back out.
Cool. I went through a phase where like I said, like where all of it, and I just felt like I was failing all the time.
Cops do the same thing.
Yeah,
like
it sucks,
correction officers, because it's such a negative environment. It's easy to fall into that.
It'd be so hard to be like somebody stopping people. Yeah. That'd be terrible. Yeah. Everybody's scared and like. Right. You'd probably never really get much of a.
Right. I'd be a hypocrite if I was like ever a city cop because I speed. Like. I'm like, I could never. I know people are like, how come you were never like a road cop? And I'm like, first of all, my mouth. Like, could you imagine? And now they have to wear like cameras, and I'm like, I would lose my job in like 24
They're
hours.
in court. Do you think you go to court over it?
And you're like, dude, yeah, exactly. It's like,
they're like,
white
not guilty.
Who the fuck is this bitch? Like, why is she?
Not guilty.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fired.
Yeah, I'm like, first of all, I'm not made to deal with the general public. Like, felons get me, and like, especially like the more stubborn, hard-headed like parolees, like. My personality and attitude, I guess, just meshes with them, and they get me, and I get them, and so it's like, you know, we don't butt heads as much. But
I would have enjoyed having you play.
But if I dealt with like an entitled, average, run-of-the-mill citizen in St. George, like that would not go well. It just wouldn't. And I would lose my job.
You should just try it, just so we get some footage.
No.
And I can put it on the channel.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Every cop I ever worked with that had a camera would be like, they'd walk up to me and like point to their camera because they're like, shut the fuck up. So, yeah. Because who knows what's going to come out of my mouth.
What brings you the most joy in life?
My kids. My grandkids. Yeah. Like my whole world and purpose in life is my kids and my grandkids. I always say it's like my favorite job, even though I collect all the others. My kids are, being a mom is my favorite job.
Cool being a grandma?
A grandma? Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch your kid be a parent. Like, that is amazing.
How about live that long?
You will.
You think? I've done a lot of damage.
I know, but when I had my youngest, I was 36. And you're right around there right now.
41.
Okay, that's not that far of a difference, so.
We were talking about the things
and now she's 14, so.
We were talking about the things that we do that we know we're aging, and I was going to tell you, once a week I dye my beard. That's one of the things that I'm like,
I
oh
dye
yeah, I'm
my
aging.
hair. I'm like 80% gray.
Me too.
And I'm not ready.
And everyone's
People are
like,
but
grow
you're
it
a
up.
grandma, embrace it. Like my
Fuck
hairstylist.
you.
Yeah, she's like, it's so pretty. I'm like, shut the fuck up and dye it brown.
Yeah,
Like,
do your job, dude.
yeah, I didn't ask for your suggestion on gracefully
That's
turning
how I
gray.
feel. I'm like, shut the fuck
And I know
up.
I'm a grandma, but I don't feel like I need to look the part.
For
Okay?
sure. I feel you. Thank you. Thank you. High five.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're gonna dye that hair.
That's I love that that's mostly everybody's answer is their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And Sora's obviously great.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be really cool to have
Oh yeah.
my own kid, you
It
know?
will,
It's
yeah.
gonna be different.
Right. Well, and there's something to say about watching, like, your spouse like have a baby in their, tummy, and then give birth, and then watch that baby grow like from day one and all of that.
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah.
I was really scared at first, but
Yeah, it is scary.
she told me, and she was like kind of laughing like a crazy person. And I was like, "Are you fucking with me right now?"
Because
She's
she
like, "No."
thought she couldn't.
Yeah.
So that's why she was probably laughing, because she was like, because she told me, she's like, I didn't think I could get pregnant.
I didn't think
yeah.
I could have. I'm
Yeah.
41. I made it
Right,
this far.
right,
And I was just like,
exactly.
dude, we don't gotta.
It just
worry
goes
about
to show
Yeah.
that the timing is meant
Yeah,
to be it.
and everything is because, like, we got the house, we got good jobs, and what I've always struggled with is I'm bipolar, and I think that's a big reason why I use, and I can't believe I made it this long clean before I got on medications, the right ones,
Right.
because my life is like completely different.
Yeah.
I didn't know life was like this.
Right.
You know? I
You're
was
like,
either
this is what it's like to be not bipolar.
yeah, dude. I was either like way up here, like sending everybody
Yeah.
like spiritual readings
Mm-hmm.
and just locked in, and then I'd be depressed and would go to work for 4 days,
Right.
or
hide
show
in
up
your
crying,
house
and like
and-
yeah, it was terrible. And
Yeah.
so God definitely, it's God's timing, and
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
What are 3 things on your bucket list? She told me you skydive.
Oh yeah, but
That's
I've already
so
done
fun.
that. Yeah.
Did you love it?
Yeah, I've done it twice. I'm gonna do it again.
I need to lose it. Last time they told me I was too fat.
Yeah, I think you have to be under 220 or 250 or something. I don't know what it is.
I think it was. You told me
It's in
213 last time.
Okay, yeah, it's something in the
I
twos.
saw
You
it.
have to be
Crushed.
under. But it's a motivator.
Yeah.
Bucket list. I don't really know that I have a bucket list. That's a good question. I feel like I should have one, but I don't.
You want to be able to do a
I probably
backflip
like-
on a dirt bike?
No. But I always say I'm going to donate, when I die, I'm going to donate my body to science. And I want to donate it to that like bodies exhibit, but only if they can guarantee that I'll be like a trapeze artist. Have you seen that bodies exhibit? They have like, they take the skin is off, but it's just like the muscle and the bones, I think. They've had it like in Vegas and big places in Salt Lake and stuff like that. And they show like how the groups of muscles and everything work doing different activities. So they'll have like one that's like throwing a football, or one that's like
real bodies?
playing basketball. Yeah.
What the
They
hell?
like regenerate or do something with like the tissue, and so it's like there's no like organs or anything like that, and no skin, but you can see like the structural muscle, and they preserve
That's
it.
wild.
It's the coolest thing. You should even look it up online.
I will.
It's like
Send me the best
Okay.
video.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I've always said like I want to be like a trapeze artist or something cool.
Yeah.
Even though I've never been a trapeze artist, nor would I ever be. I'm like, I just want to determine what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want them making me like sitting there playing a freaking piano
Yeah,
or some
fuck
shit.
that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know that I have a bucket list. I can't honestly say that I do.
I think
I'm probably more of like a just live day by day. I don't know. It's like a shopping list. Like whatever the fuck I want, I just get. I don't.
Do you make a shopping list?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Kiana does too. And
So
I,
Kiana and
I
I are
still
very,
wing it.
very similar in
and
the fact that
we're
we're
the opposites.
very OCD and we're total planners, and we want everything like written out. And
She was like, Sierra is, I can't remember the word she said,
OCD.
but on time. She
Oh
is
yeah.
contagiously on time or something. I can't
Yeah.
remember what she said.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, come on. you
I know. And then I show up. Late
I'm always
for this.
5 minutes late to everything.
I
Because I
try.
feel like the worst part's over, and then I can just slide in
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I'm good.
The only reason I'm ever late is because I'm a chronic overcommitter. And so like I feel like I can squeeze more into a day than I really can, because I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Sure, I could do that. Sure, I could do that. And then I'm like, shit, now I'm behind. But
No bucket list, but
I don't
trapeze
think so. But
muscle.
donate my body
Yeah.
to be a
That's-
trapeze artist.
I asked you for 3 things, and
There we go.
that one thing is better than get 3 answers anybody else would give me.
It's so random.
That's awesome. I love it. What's a lesson life has taught you that changed your perception? That's kind of a hard question. I didn't know if I asked it right.
A lesson life taught me to change my perception of life in general, or
Yeah,
what?
just like
Or things, people.
About this life, about people, about whatever the lesson was.
Okay, so I would say, I mean, there's a lot of things that are probably all encompassed. So like, I've always been open, like, especially with people that I've supervised on parole, about like my growing up and my hardships or struggles, because I didn't ever want. I know when people like meet cops or POs or even like authority figures, they think like they're probably judging me. They've never done a drug or made a mistake in their life, or like
They've
you're
had an
put
easy
on this
life,
like
they-
yeah, you're put on this like pedestal where like you've never done anything wrong, you've never made a poor choice, you probably woke up and were born with a freaking golden spoon in your
Yeah.
mouth or whatever, and like that's not the case at all. So I think for me, probably what kind of shaped me even in my career was I was like a really hard-headed, rebellious kid. I was like the daredevil, like just wild, okay? And so when I was a teenager, like a young teenager, and even like 10, 11, 12, I was like drinking and like smoking weed, and then because of where I grew up, meth was like a recreational drug when I was in high school, like in the early 90s, late 80s. And
Was
so
it like crank? Was it like,
yes,
like peanut butter?
but I was like literally, well, yeah, and like crystal. I was like smoking meth on foil when I was in 9th grade.
That's wild.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. So I don't know if I really dropped out of 9th grade or if I got kicked out. It was like a combination of the two because I never went to school.
Yeah, they seem to like not be
Right.
too happy about
They're
that.
not hip.
'Cause I did
on
the
that.
same thing, and they're like,
Mhm.
you're done here. And I was like, what do you mean?
Right. So
Like,
I'd missed so much school, and their solution was when they finally caught up, because I was like signing notes for my dad.
Yeah, I
or
did the
whatever.
same thing, yeah.
And so,
Like
well, my
teacher
sister
signatures or-
actually signed them for me because she had his hand.
Oh,
down
okay, for the
better.
school?
We were partners in crime. Yeah, my dad's signature.
I had to get the teacher signatures for the class,
Oh,
and I just went one day and I learned
No,
their signatures,
I
and I
would,
just
like-
did that every day.
we would forge my dad's signature to like get excused from school all the time, but then it's like
That's
when you
even
miss so much,
smarter.
right? So anyway, the guidance counselor figured it out and called my dad, and they were like, I was in 9th grade, and in California that was like high school. You were like actually at the high school. It was 9th or 12th grade, and so they were like, their solution was they were gonna embarrass me, and my dad was gonna go to school with me for a day. He was gonna go to all of my classes with me, and it was gonna embarrass me to make me go to class. I don't know what this is. Dumbest good
Yeah.
idea ever. And so I thought it was like funny. I thought it was like a joke. So anyway, we go to my first 2 classes, and then it's like 3rd period, and my dad's like, okay, where do we go? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know my schedule. And he's like, what? I'm like, I never went to school after this. This is when I left and went to the pizza place and smoked weed with my friends. And my dad was like, fuck. So we go and like, we go to the office and get my schedule.
That's
And then we
funny.
go to my 3rd period class, and the teacher's like, you're not in my class. And my dad's like, yes, she is. I've never seen her before, And my dad's like, oh my gosh. So anyway, that didn't work. It didn't scare me straight. I just completely stopped going to school at all after that. And then I was like a chronic runaway because I was, my parents' solution, like they didn't believe in physical punishment, which some kids, I feel like need their asses kicked, and I was one of those. I needed like a fear factor,
Yeah.
and there was none. So it was like, you're grounded. And then my parents would go to bed at 9, and I would like walk out the front door. You know what I mean? So it was like, there was no controlling me. I was just wild and crazy. So anyway, long story short, hung out with bad people, did bad things, chronic runaway, all of that. And finally my family staged an intervention. My dad took me to the doctor and drug tested me, and I was like positive for like 4 out of 5 things that they tested me for, and they were like, oh my gosh, you know, they thought it was like alcohol and weed, and all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, you know. So they put me in rehab when I was 14, right before I turned 15, and I think that kind of structured like my whole path in life, and like my future and my goals and like direction and everything.
It helped you a lot?
It totally helped.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
that's cool you got it that young.
Yeah, fast forward, I ended up like getting pregnant because I was still, you know, even though I wasn't doing drugs, I was still like wild and crazy.
Yeah.
So I got pregnant and had my first daughter when I was in high school, and so I feel like these things that I did that were definitely the harder path to take or whatever shaped me for who I became and who I was as a PO. Like, I feel like because I went through these things and because of, you know, where these things took me and the friends that I made through this, you know, process, and the hardships I faced and the neighborhoods I had to live in because I was a teenage parent and broke, kind of made me more understanding of a lot of different walks of life. And because of that, I felt like it gave me a lot more compassion dealing with the population that I dealt with my whole career. So
you're 100% right. Like, I would have never. You just basically told my story growing up. Intervention, like all of it, dude. Like, getting drug tests and then finding out certain things. Like, you just I would have, and I never would have thought that. You know, like meeting you that day in jail or whatever.
Yeah.
I would never would have thought that, and you're 100% right that I think that about cops, and like I think that they didn't go through the struggles I did.
Yeah, they don't have a history.
Maybe,
yeah,
you know,
there's some that have never smoked a cigarette or anything like that, but and I got a lot of criticism from coworkers throughout my career about like being that transparent and honest with the people I supervise, because one of the things they teach you in the academy is like, don't ever share anything personal about yourself. Never tell them anything about you. Like, people freaked out that like I told people my first name. I'm like, but I was just never like the formal type, and I always wanted to be like totally true to myself and not like a RoboCop or not like that wasn't natural to me. And so I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have better luck being naturally who I am.
Yeah, people appreciate that for sure. Especially addicts for sure appreciate that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we 100% appreciate that stuff.
Yeah.
What's the best way to change the world?
Oh my gosh. What? That is like the most random open question ever. The best way to change the world? Well, I think just like understanding and like removing judgment. But I mean, that's like in a perfect world, that's never going to happen. Because even though I try to not be a judgmental person, I'm still judgmental of certain situations or people sometimes.
Well, I think that's the natural.
Yeah,
that's our thinking process.
Right,
judge,
but I feel
decide.
like becoming more understanding of all walks of life and not judging is a good step in the right direction.
I think it starts with us, you know, like it's like to change yourself is the best way to change the world.
Well,
know?
yeah, because
like my situation with people I know, friends, whatever. I can't help people.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I help myself, you know, unless I make myself a better person, a good example to be for them. That's all I can do, dude. You change yourself and you change the world. That's what I think.
And for me, it was like being kind and compassionate, even in a situation where I was an authority figure, and it was a balancing act. It was a fine line, because there were times where me being kind and compassionate made inmates think that I wanted to sleep with them or date them, and then they would get released from jail and like try to friend request me on Facebook or whatever, and I was like,
well, that's some inmates' whole goal.
I was like, sorry,
that's their whole goal in life.
I was like, sorry, but it's like a conflict of interest to me even be friends with you, because my department had like a really strict policy on that. So I would like tell them, you know, like I would feel bad because I'm like, nothing personal, like I'm not judging you. I don't think you're a piece of shit because you were in jail, like whatever. But per my department policy, and I want to keep my job, like I can't do that or whatever. But it was like, and they'd be like, but you were just so nice, and I kind of got the feeling, and I'm like, well, like that's not an accurate feeling. Whatever feeling you got was
came in and you waved.
I know, right? Exactly.
You said hello.
Yeah, or they're like, yeah, you always smelled good. And I'm like, I
Oh, my
fucking
bad.
showered
Yeah.
before my shift. Like, you know what I mean? But it's hard to navigate that as a female, especially working in like male housing, because you're like obviously going to be viewed in that way anyway, because like, especially in prison, because they don't see very many females. And so it's like, you could be like the most freaking nasty female.
Anything that
wouldn't matter.
Because we're using Bob Barker soap in there. And
Right,
shit, you know?
exactly.
So anything, if it's Irish,
Right,
we're
yeah,
like,
I'm like
"God,
secret
that smells
deodorant.
good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I knew she wore perfume for me. And it's like fucking
they
secret
really
deodorant.
think that.
I
though,
know
man.
they
really do. Like they,
I know.
as soon as they leave, they're like, you see the way she looks.
Yeah.
That's just
yeah.
like
or
it's
she
like
was nice to me, and
yeah.
when she handed me my tray, I'm like, I was nice to all 46 of
It's-
you when I handed you your dinner.
Some are joking and some are,
Right,
I think,
right.
serious.
Oh
you know?
no, they're serious.
Yeah.
I know, and so that was always a fine line and like a hard balance, because most people just err on the side of caution and are just assholes or standoffish, especially females working in male facilities, because then they don't have to deal with that. But still, for me, I'm like, that's not who I am. Like, I'm a kind person. You know what I mean? And so.
Yeah, you were always
was-
you were joking with this. You were.
Yeah, I am sarcastic
You know,
and
yeah,
smart
and I
ass.
enjoyed that though, because that's the way we are in there.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So it was cool.
That's
when
why
you
we
gave me that,
mesh.
I was like, you know what, like,
Yeah.
she's all right. You
My
know,
personality is pretty institutionalized.
she's still a parole officer, but she, you know, that's
She's
what I.
okay for a cop.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You know who else changed my mind a lot about cops was Sergeant Bowen.
Uh-huh.
Dude,
Yeah.
so good
Yep.
to me, so nice. He
Yep.
loved my dad. My
Yep.
dad just got done with drug court
Yep.
and
You could tell
relapsed
people that
right
are
away.
like,
He was broken hearted
genuine.
about my dad.
yeah,
He was so bummed. He
Yeah.
was like, "Don't." The whole time he pulled me aside, giving me these pep talks,
yeah.
and I felt loved. You know, like
Yeah.
he cared about me. He
Because
really
it's
wanted me
genuine.
to
He
do good.
was coming from a good place.
Yeah.
And you can tell that in people.
And my coworker, her husband, he was a park cop or
Mm-hmm.
like out of gun lock and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nicest guy I've ever met.
Mhm.
It's just so cool. And like we go on our work retreats, and he comes and like he's my
Yeah.
favorite person there.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just been a cool experience getting to know people and like being on the other side.
Yeah.
Because I'm basically a cop myself now. You know,
Right, I know.
I send updates to
I know. I tease
Yo
our
and like
house leaders about that at
yeah,
Sober Living.
yeah.
I give them a hard time all the
Yeah.
time. I'm like, you're like a fucking cop, dude. I'm like, you're a snitch. You tested that guy, and now you're fucking telling him.
Now I just tell them that's why
They're
I
like,
signed
shut
up
the
for
hell
this.
up, Sierra. I'm like, because they get all insecure about it. They're like, damn it.
I've had some people that come through there, and I caught one. He passed away, he killed himself. But I caught one with a bottle of Visine,
Mm-hmm.
and I've known him forever, and it was
Mhm.
so hard to be like, bro, you gotta go talk to Ryan.
Yep.
He's like, come on,
Yep.
Tyrone, come. And I'm like, bro, I can't, dude.
Yeah.
Like I love Ryan and Trina that much. They respect me that
Right,
much to not disrespect
right.
their
Right.
program, and like no matter who it is, like,
Right. Well, and why is you being dirty more important than my
me,
livelihood?
yeah. Why you're
This is
putting
how
me-
I support myself and my family. This is like my livelihood. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
But it's so hard.
It is hard.
Sometimes, you know,
I
and I
know.
feel like, and they'll say things to me. And I heard about people in jail saying things about me, like
Oh, yeah.
bitch, Tyrone's.
Yeah.
He turned into a,
Because
you
you're a
know,
fucking
and
traitor.
it's like,
And, yeah.
and it sometimes still hurts my feelings, you know. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, you
Well,
know, but
it's
it is
normal.
what it
It's
is.
going to.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is what it is, man. And I'm good with myself today,
Right.
you know. So,
And all you can do is be an example to them and
Yeah.
hope that someday they get it.
and when they're clean, they're usually not mad about that stuff,
Yeah.
you know. Like everybody's mad in jail usually, especially in that block, but.
Right. But even people like when my old partner, I mean, he was a dick. Everyone hated him. And he's like, everyone likes you and everyone hates me, because he was like just a dick to everybody. But he used to joke around because he was like, you will literally, like, I've taken people to jail and booked them in jail and knowing that they're going to be going back to prison. And they're like, thanks for the ride, Sierra. Or he's like, did they just thank you for the ride to fucking jail, you know? Or I would like have to transport them from the jail to prison when they go back to prison. And they'd be like, sorry to inconvenience you, because it's like literally a whole day for me. If
Yeah.
I have to take them back, especially if I have to take them to Salt Lake, but even to Gunnison, it's like 3 hours, 3.5 hours there, 3.5 back. It's like my whole day is shot.
You did that? I didn't know you did that. The transportation.
Yes, we had to. Not because I chose to. That was part of my job duties, which was really frustrating because it took a whole day out, and then you're like, okay, how am I supposed to go meet with people? How am I supposed to go do home visits?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, so I would take people back, and sometimes I'd get a McDonald's on the way, and
Cool.
my partners would be like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, if I'm gonna stop and get food on the way, I'll get them food.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. But
That's
and
nice.
it's amazing to watch how coordinated people are when they're hungry and in handcuffs. Like, they can
they'll make it happen.
I know,
Yeah.
like big old guys can like maneuver. I'm like, like
Well,
one guy was
because
like,
I'm still trying to
had like a
stuff
big
my butt,
man
dude.
again to freaking coffee, and I was like, you're gonna spill that coffee. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, okay, and he really.
Hold on to it for dear life.
I know, that's impressive.
Well, when I was like this, I was still
Yeah.
trying to stick things up my butt.
I know.
You know? I
Yeah.
was like, I need to be double
The
cupped.
sticking up
I need to
of
be
the
double
butt
cupped.
is a whole thing. And
Yeah.
That was.
You can't do it. It's like your last ditch effort to hold on to the
I
life you have
know.
while you're going to jail. You know? You're like, if I can just not be good for 2 days.
Right.
You know?
For
Whatever,
2 days,
or
but
what-
either way, it's like,
You're coming
yeah,
down.
you just hope you'll get out before that, probably.
I also got caught 3 times.
Yeah,
I had a,
and
last
then you
time,
get new charges.
I had a
which-
first-degree felony, my
Yeah.
third one.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not good.
And one of them I got dismissed, thank God.
Yeah, you
But-
lucked out.
I did.
Yeah, that's not good. In prison, it's mostly weapons up there. They wrap
I'm
them
so glad I never went to prison.
in like
Thank
t-shirt
God.
material and stuff. Yeah,
And showed up their butt?
yeah, all the
It's
time.
scary.
Yeah, shanks, all the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I'm not going that far, you know?
I know. Everyone's like, how do they put it up there and not get cut? And I'm like, because they wrap it. Like they tear up a t-shirt
I
and
couldn't
then
do
they
that.
wrap
That's
it.
too, I'd be
It's-
worried. Wait,
Yeah, because we have body scanners at the prison, so you can now you just see it all. You catch everything.
idiots.
Yeah, for some reason they still think they can get away with it. You're like, okay.
Using my last question is, just if somebody's struggling, or what would you say to people that are struggling and, you know, need like a message of hope or something?
Oh my gosh, I mean, I guess people that are struggling call me now sometimes for work, but I don't know. I just try to be encouraging to them and like come up with solutions. Like I feel like if instead of trying to like cheer them up, I'm trying to like distract them or transfer whatever their energy is that they're focusing on, the pity party that they're having or
It's
whatever.
hard sometimes to get them there.
Yeah, it's more of like,
What can we do?
not like, oh, your life doesn't suck, because you know what, their life does fucking suck at that moment. So like, I'm not gonna, sugarcoat shit and call it candy. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, but try to focus their energy on something else. Like, okay, yeah, it sucks, but the one thing that is good is like where you're at sucks, but you're like way down here, and the only way up is to go up. And so let's focus on baby steps, what we need to do to get you,
It's hard when they
just
won't
try to
listen
get their
sometimes.
energy and their focus. I know. I
And
call
sometimes
those
they won't.
assholes because they ask you for advice
Yeah,
and
then
then
they
they
won't.
don't take it
Assholes.
over and over again. I used to tell them, stop being an asshole, because they're like, okay, so what should I do? Like, my baby mama, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay,
Here.
do this, this, and this. And then they wouldn't. And then they call me back and be like, I got a new charge because, I threw keys at her or whatever. And I'm like, all right, asshole, are you ready to
Ready?
listen again? Like, so, I don't know. I try to just help them transfer their focus into something else, not on the pity party.
Yeah.
Not on the problem, but on the solution.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely more of a solution-minded, focused person.
Me too. I used to not be that way, but now I have a hard time when it's stuck, and I'm just like, no, like I
Right.
kind of won't continue if it's not going to go anywhere. There's nothing I can do. I just
Right.
tell them I love them,
Yeah.
and
Because I get annoyed when people like just want to sit and feel sorry for themselves. Because I'm not, very rarely, if ever, have I been that person. So I'm just like, stop being a bitch. And say that to parolees, and they're just like, did she just call me a bitch? But it does, it snaps them out of it, because they're like, fuck, dude, my PO just called me a little bitch. But I'm like,
bet it
you
was
are
effective,
being a little
yeah.
bitch, right? And some of them remember it still. They're just like, shit, remember when you called me a pussy? And I'm like, probably wasn't the most professional of me, but you really were being one, But sometimes you just have to snap people out
I
of it.
love
If I
that.
can't like slap them in the face, I'm gonna do it with words.
That's great. That's fantastic. I just want to tell you, your tattoos are dope as fuck.
Thanks.
I love them.
They're always
Look at
a
your
work
hand
in,
ones.
I know, they're a work in progress. This arm,
Love them, dude.
this one's all done. This one's like 85-90%
I
done.
still got this right here.
Yeah, I have like some
like
blank
that.
spaces here, and then we're gonna add some pops of color and
Looks great.
some white, so it's not like so dark. And then we're gonna do my whole back. I'm gonna do my neck.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I know. I really wanted to do it before I retired because it would really piss off like my administration.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it done yet.
Just send 'em a picture.
It's costly. It's expensive.
Send them a picture.
Well, I see them now because we have to work with them for reentry
Yeah.
stuff. So
Okay,
they're just
the-
not the bosses of me anymore.
The real last question is, did you have fun?
I did have
I'm
fun.
so grateful you did this with me.
It's awesome.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
This is cool. Super cool to me. I was a little nervous,
Yeah.
but you're
it's
amazing.
good.
And
I'm chill.
yeah, it's like as talking to myself, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
listening to your story growing up is
There's
like,
a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
I know, and that's what I found
Blew
when I
my
told,
mind.
like most people that I supervise. Like, I'm like, there's not a lot of differences between us. Like
Yeah.
the age I started using and drinking, and like the lifestyle. But that's kind of was why like going into corrections was so important to me, because for me it was like a reminder of like where I could have been,
yeah.
and to not ever go back. Don't ever go backwards. Like always go
I
forward.
think it's super impressive you got it at that young of an age, because it doesn't happen very often. I tell people, young people all the time, I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I fucked my 34 years of my life up.
Yeah, I never
And I
touched
haven't
another
even
drug
really
again.
tried that hard since I've
Yeah.
been clean. And all these great things have happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just try to be a good person. That's my main
Yeah.
focus.
But did you go to juvenile rehabs? With,
I was in-
with kids, other kids.
It was outpatient.
Okay, so
But I went to school there. I went to like,
okay,
then we did like
right,
3-4
and you're
hours.
around other bratty kids that are like you. So
Yeah.
I think a huge factor for me
Me
was
and Randall Conrad were there forever.
Ugh,
We like hold
I
the record.
supervised him
Yeah,
too.
and I figured.
how many times have I sent him to prison?
Probably a few.
I know, he was just nervous seeing me recently, and then he was like, "Oh, she's actually super cool now," and I'm like, "I was always cool, Dick."
Yeah,
Like,
you're
you
probably
just
not,
were,
yeah.
you were hiding.
I also noticed that when I was doing good, they were way nicer.
Yeah,
You know, like-
exactly.
Of course they're
Right.
not nice when you give them no option.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? And God, I just can't believe all the times I went to jail and I just blame
Yeah.
everybody else but myself, dude.
See, but a huge factor, like, so when I went to rehab, my dad used his insurance to get me in, and the insurance so my stepmom worked at a hospital, and this rehab was like a part of this hospital, and it was run like by the hospital or whatever, and so they found out about it through that, and then it took our insurance. But the problem was it was an adult inpatient rehab, and so and I was 14. It was like a month before I turned 15, and so they were like, okay. My parents met with them, and they're like, we can take her, but she has to be outpatient because obviously she can't stay on premises. She's a
Yeah.
minor, and we have adults in here. So, and they had never had a minor in there before, and they never did. Like, it closed down probably 2 years after I went there. They had never had any other juvenile there. I don't know if they like pulled strings because
Yeah,
my stepmom
they
worked
probably
at the
did.
hospital, probably. So anyway, they brought me in there, and I had to go from 6 in the morning till 10 at night. My dad would take me in the morning, drop me off, and then I'd be
6
there.
in the morning till 10 at night?
Yes, and then I'd be there till 10 at night. And for the first
Damn, I thought I had it bad.
for the first 2 weeks, and I didn't go to school during that time. They just pulled me out of school.
Well, you weren't going anyway, so.
And, exactly, I wasn't. I was like, what grade am I in? So the first 2 weeks of treatment, my therapist, which was this like crusty old recovering alcoholic lady named Betty.
Betty.
Oh
Of
my
course,
gosh,
Betty.
She was freaking. You know those like smokers commercials, and they're like,
Yeah.
She sounded like that, but she didn't have the voice boxing. She just was such a smoker for so many years and an alcoholic. She was probably like 40 and really looked 80. No, I'm just kidding. She was older than that. But so she was like, and she was like tough love type. Like she was not a coddler.
Dude, most old schoolers,
She
especially
scared the
women-
Betty scared the shit out
I
of me.
bet.
Okay, so here I come in, and I'm like, this little girl from the suburbs or whatever, I've been doing bad shit. And so her solution was for the first 2 weeks, they had a detox wing of this program. I had to sit with people that were detoxing off of alcohol and drugs. And if you've ever watched people detox in jail, especially alcoholics, fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like seizures, convulsions, vomiting on themselves, pissing the bed, like it was like a hospital detox program. And I had to sit next to people and comfort them and alert the nurses if like they started convulsing or wet the bed or
That's wild.
it was like Scared Straight Betty style. And it scared the shit out of me because I had never, like for me, drugs and alcohol were like party. So I'd never seen like that side of it. I'd never even seen people withdrawing or anything like that. And so it was like, it was brutal. It was
A good wake up for you?
It was a huge wake up. And I think that was a huge factor for me was that. And then my parents pulled me out of my original school and put me in a different school that was a few cities away. Like there was a lot of changes that took place abruptly. And I think that was a huge factor in why I didn't go back out.
Lucky, dude.
Right?
Lucky. I mean, you put in the work too, but
I know. I think they
it's
said
just
it's
cool
like
to
less
get it
than
done.
1%
Yeah.
that do that. Like that
it's cool.
don't ever go back out or
That's impressive.
But then I got pregnant and had my daughter, and so for me that was like a motivator too.
I bet.
Why I never ended up going back to that lifestyle because that was a wake up call for me. So yeah, and now she's 32. I don't know how she's 32 because I'm only 35.
Yeah,
right?
that's.
I tell people that all the
I don't
time.
know.
They're like, "You have a 32-year-old." I know. I'm still in my 30s. And I feel like I am sometimes.
Me too.
Except for when the weather changes and my arthritis knees act up. But other than that, good.
Just moments.
Just moments.
I don't know if it's clarity or whatever. Yeah, but right on, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're
thanks.
awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Like, follow, subscribe. Stay lit, dude.
Like
See
how
ya.
many of them are gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, she arrested me. Oh, she arrested me too."